All right. Today we're talking to Lin Manor. And here we go. Take one. All right. So, Mr. Manor, what do you like to be called?
Lin.
Lin. All right. And where were you born?
I was born in Texas.
Which city?
Wilson, Texas, right outside of Lubbock, Texas.
I see. And tell us about growing up. You have an interesting backstory to that. Go ahead.
Well, growing up, my dad was a sharecropper, and we moved out here when I was 7 years old. The reason we did because the crop failed, and didn't have enough money to stay there, and so we moved into Rosemead, California.
Now, you told me when you were growing up. Could you explain what a sharecropper is, please?
Sharecropper is the man owns the property, the farm. Usually it's around 40 acres, and then he supplies the seed, and then my dad, then he planted the seeds and did everything to get it, cut the weeds out and all that kind of stuff, and then he harvests it and takes it and sell it, and then he gets 60%. Whatever.
The sharecropper gets 60, and then the owner gets 40. Is that how that?
No,
works?
it's the other way around.
Oh, okay.
The other way around. The owner gets 60%, and then the sharecropper gets 40.
How did they divvy up the money? Who got the money and who gives out the money?
Well, we took it to town and sold it.
I see.
Sold the cotton at the cotton farm, a cotton place.
Now, was there other people around you? Were they harvesting cotton too?
Yes.
So it was a cotton area.
It was all cotton area there.
I see. Is it still a cotton area?
I believe so. Yeah.
What was when you were growing up, and your dad was a sharecropper? What were your duties there on the farm?
Well, I helped weed and things like that, and helped feed the. We had one horse and about 2 cattle, and chickens, and a pig or 2. I forgot how many.
Yeah.
And I just helped do things like that.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I had one sister. I had 2 brothers and two sisters, but the only one who was living there with me was my youngest sister. Everybody else was gone.
Were you one of the youngest ones as well?
I was the youngest, yes.
You were the youngest, okay. So how old were you when you came out to California?
7 years old.
And how did you get out here?
We came on a train. My mother and my sister came on a train. And then my dad sold everything. The property we had there wasn't much, but he had an old car. And he sold all that, and then he hitchhiked out. Yeah. And he in fact, the guy that he hitchhiked with picked him up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and brought him right to our house in Rosemead, which was really a nice thing.
Yeah. So your family was already living here in Rosemead, and then he just shut down the shop.
Well, my sister was here.
Oh, she was.
And my older sister.
And so you all, how many people lived, when you moved to Rosemead, how many people were in the family at that time?
Well, just my dad and, my sister and her husband and he had a young daughter.
So you were out here when you were 7 or 8 or something like that?
7, I was 7 years old.
7. And what was the area like when you moved out? What was it like in the area where you moved?
Well, it was crowded. The neighborhood was full.
Yeah? Were you glad to be in California?
Well, I didn't know any differences. And then my dad, he bought some property in Bell Gardens.
Right.
And he built a house on there, and then we moved into that house later on.
So you and your dad, very resourceful. I mean, you decided, you got land, you built the house. And so how many houses have you built altogether?
Well, I didn't build this. I bought this when it was already built, but it's not the same house.
Right.
Totally different. And then I built a house in Big Bear in 1992.
Now you mentioned that when you were growing up, also back there in Wilton, that you didn't have any electricity, right?
Oh, no electricity, no running water.
Yeah. What about when you got to Rosemead? in Bell
they had,
Gardens.
Yeah, well, they had water and everything, electricity in Rosemead, but we moved to Bell Gardens. Well, we didn't have, we had water,
I see.
but no bathroom. Is out. We had outhouses,
Right.
and it was a long time before we got my dad got enough money to buy a water heater so we'd have water,
Really?
a bathroom in the house.
You told me he passed away when you were 12. Is that?
That's correct. Yes.
And you were in the 10th grade at that time, or?
Oh no, I was about in the 6th grade.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so you quit school then when your dad passed away, right?
No, not right then. I didn't. I just kept. I worked at a gas station, and my mother was working. She was working in the cafeteria at Chrysler in Slauson, and then I also worked there as a busboy. But then when she got ill, this later on when in the 10th grade, she couldn't work anymore, so I had to.
Okay.
I had to quit and go to work. Couldn't go to school.
Right. You worked at a gas station.
When I started there when I was 12 years old. Yeah.
Was it hard to find work then, or was it pretty easy?
It was
No?
easy.
Okay. So you had an early interest in cars. You bought and sold cars.
I did when I was working at the gas station. I'd buy an old car for $10, $12, something like that, and I'd fix it up and paint it, and whatever I needed. Then I'd sell it for $40 or $50, $60, And I did probably around 25 or 30 of those.
Mm-hmm. You're working your way going.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So tell me about your interest in cars, though. You were a race car driver. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, when I was 18, I built a car, and I raced it at Gardena Speedway. And I won a few races.
Yeah? Did you have a team working with you on the car?
I had 3 guys. But
Yeah?
Pit crew, we called them.
Pit crew, right. What kind of car was it now?
It was a 36 Ford coupe
Yeah.
with no, that was a 32 coupe. I got a 36. But anyway.
You had a 32 and a 36?
No, I had a 32 first, and then I got a 36 later. In fact, I won the 36. I raced it in when I was in Fairbanks, Alaska.
I see.
When I was in the Air Force.
You almost were going to be in the Indianapolis, right?
Right. Yeah. Agaginian, he was a big time driver, and I won a few races at Gardena, and he took note of me that I was a pretty good driver, and so he said in May of 1950 he wanted me to join his crew up there and drive a race car in 1950, and so I thought, well, that's great, but then along came the Korean situation.
Yeah.
And I was going to get drafted, so I enlisted in the Air Force, and that took me out of the 1950. So, because it started in 1950, and I didn't get out of the Air Force till 1954.
So 4 years later, okay. Where were you stationed?
Well, my first place was in Narsarsuaq, Greenland, and I stayed there a year, and then went to Ladd Air Force Base in Denver, and then I went I went to Fairbanks, Alaska for 2 years.
And what was your specialty in the Air Force?
I was a fireman, a crash rescue fireman.
How often were you busy, with crash rescues?
Oh, not too busy.
Okay.
We had a lot of standbys when like the B-52s when they came in. We had to stand by on the runways, and then we always had during the daytime, we had to be on the flight line where the mechanics were working on the airplanes, just in case it would, catch a fire or something there.
Well, since you were such a mechanic, did you work on any of the airplanes?
No, I did not.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't my specialty.
You were involved in the trucking business?
I was in the trucking business for 10 years.
Yeah?
In Los Angeles.
How many trucks you had?
Oh, golly, I don't remember. We had probably 40 or 50
Wow.
Regular trucks, and then trailers. We had trailers too. So We had tons of those, not tons, but many of them. And then when we established a turnaround point in Hayward, California, and I would fly up there 2 or 3 times a month, and I just got burned out on it.
Yeah, you said there was a lot of drama going on.
Yeah. And we had to belong to the Teamsters, of course.
I see. And then after you decided you don't want to be in the trucking business anymore, you sold out, and then
I moved to Coachella Valley
in 1964.
1964.
Right to this house.
Right to this house here.
All right. And this house was already built, right?
It was already built. It was built in 1958. And we told the realtor that we wanted to look at the property. We didn't want to look at any house that had a pool.
Right. So does this house have a pool?
No. It does not. It's got a putting green out there.
Now, when you were, it didn't have a pool, did you go over to Shadow Mountain?
Yeah, we joined Shadow Mountain Club in 1965, and that way we could the kids had a pool, and we could also play tennis. It was just we wasn't in the golf. There was no golf club.
Right.
There was a golf course there, but we hadn't belonged that. And then I joined the golf club in 1967.
Mm-hmm. Did your kids go over to the Shadow Mountain Social Club a lot?
Yeah, that's what they would go there swimming and they did it a lot. And then of course we could have dinner. They could have dinners there on Friday nights. It was really a nice.
Was it?
Really nice.
So you have 3 children, right?
I had 3 children.
You had. And you have how many grandchildren? How many great grandchildren?
Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 grandchildren. And then great grandchildren, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. And you raised your children here in the desert.
I did.
And where did they go to high school?
They went to Indio.
How did they get to Indio? How did they get there?
Well, my son had a little Volkswagen, and he drove down there.
Now, did your son take after you with being with cars and all?
Well, not really. But he was handy. He could do anything he wanted.
Oh, that's you right there.
Yeah.
How many years were you married?
Well, when we found out my wife had inoperable brain cancer, we were planning our 70th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
But we never made it.
Yeah. Well, you started being interested you entered the golf cart parade now in 1965, right?
1965.
Now, had that already been going on?
I don't think I think maybe a couple of years or so. I'm not sure. But
yeah. So, what was it like in that first golf?
Well, it was called Christmas in July, and it was at night. They started at 6 o'clock at night, and I had my Thomas golf carts. He donated all the cars for her. There was only about 10 or 12 of us, something like that. And I had my daughter Sandy and my niece Adele was riding with me, and they kept saying it was hot, and I said, "Well, I know it's hot. It's probably 100 out there." So, but we finally got back to Firecliff Restaurant. That's where we stopped, and where it ended. And they said they jumped off there. "What is that thing? It's really hot." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And so I reached back. They said, "Well, feel it." And I put my hand on it, and it was a metal thing, and it was so hot I had to jerk my hand off.
Gosh.
And those poor kids, they just kept on. They just stayed on there.
Well, how many people would be on a golf cart? Like, how many people would be on?
Well, there was 4 of us.
4.
Me and Ella, my wife, and then 2 kids.
Okay. It was a 4-seater, or was it a 2-seater and they sat on the back?
It was a 2-seater and they sat on the
okay.
on the battery where the batteries were. That was why it was so hot.
That was hot. You had a company called Desert Management, right?
Right. Yeah. That's what.
And how you were What did you do in desert management?
Well, we did everything. When it first, of course, when it first started, I just did everything myself, like mowing lawns and things like that. And then I really built it up, and we did everything. We did pools, clean pools, and I had a bunch of. Then I joined the Palm Springs Fire Department, and I got had all the firemen. They worked for me.
Oh,
And,
is that right?
yeah, we did everything, painting. Just took care of whatever that needed to be done. We did, and the ladies. So a lot of ladies they did maid service. They cleaned the houses for people.
So you were working as a fireman, and you had the little side property management.
Yeah, well, first I had the property management before I joined the fire department.
Oh, I see. Where was the station? What station were you?
I was at Station 1. Well, I did all of them, and I retired as a division chief, training officer.
You have good memories of being a.
Oh yeah, in fact,
really.
I do a lot of good memories. In fact, we was involved in that Section 4. We tore down all the houses and burned the things, the debris in Section 14 in Palm Springs. You probably heard about that.
What was that? What else was it called besides Section 4? Did it have another name to it?
No, it is called Section 14.
What street is that on?
It's all the area right in. It's a square mile. You know, the Indians owned. It was Indian property.
I see.
And the Indians owned that. They owned that.
How does that work with the Indians, and then you're the Palm Desert or Palm Springs Fire Department? You just went, or?
Well, we burned all the debris after the houses were knocked down. Then we burned all it. You know, instead of hauling it away, we burned it.
There's a name for that when you burn? Where you try to just clean. Basically, you're burning it so it's cleaning up. So you just get it all down, right?
Yeah, that's all. It's just, and it's quite a controversy. They're really getting into it right now. About, I mean, the city of Palm Springs is getting into it for doing that.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
What are they claiming? It hurt people or something?
Yeah, well, they had to move, they had no homes.
I see.
So they had to move out and go. Some of them went up north.
You're talking about only Native Americans right now, right? Or you're talking about other Caucasians too?
Well, they weren't Native. They were mostly blacks and Hispanics.
I see.
There was no Indians involved in that.
Oh.
The Indians owned the land. But
I see.
See, the Indians own a square mile around, all around Palm Springs. A square mile here, a square mile there. It's a checkerboard type thing.
Right. Now, that, just to tell people, that was only in Palm Springs. Did that go over to Cathedral City and...
Yeah, they own stuff in Cathedral City. Like they built that new casino there.
I know it.
So,
and then what about Rancho? That was like where it stopped over at Rancho?
Probably so, yeah. I don't know.
What about
there was none out here anyway.
Yeah.
In Palm Desert.
Okay, let's hear the celebrity stories. Okay, you were the property manager for several local celebs, and who were they?
Well, Bing Crosby and Phil Harris. I can't remember all of them.
You mentioned Hoagie, right?
Yeah, Hoagie Carmichael, right? And then also the guy that does has the diamonds and plays the
Liberace.
Liberace, I had him.
Yeah.
And Lawrence Welk.
Yeah. Cliff Henderson,
I did work for him.
Well, now he was down here, right? He was
the guy that started Palm Desert.
All right, so so you worked some in Palm Springs, you worked some as Thunderbird.
Yes.
And then also down in Palm Desert, right?
Right. Oh, most of it was in Palm Desert. Yeah.
Oh, it was, okay.
We had El Dorado Country Club, and we did most all the people in there.
You were busy.
We were busy.
Because most people were gone. How long of the year? How long were they gone, and how long would they be here?
Well, they'd be gone. They'd leave probably in April and come back sometime in October, November.
Okay. So you were overseeing this for at least half of the year, right?
Well, we did it for the whole year, but I mean,
I see.
When they were here, we did it. But when they were gone, when
You
they
watched over things.
Yeah, well, we had to go and flush the toilets and things like that. Yeah.
Right. You had an office that was in the back of where Keaty's is, right?
Well, that's where we started the first lock shop. Was a
Okay, so what made you start this lock shop?
I retired from the fire department, and so I was only 44, 45, and so I needed to do something else, you know. So, and I still had my management company, but then I started the lock shop because a locksmith business is what it was.
Right.
And then I got so doggone busy in that I sold my management company.
That's amazing. Now, you told me, how did you learn to be a locksmith?
Well, I bought a truck from an old guy. He was leaving, and he had all the stuff in the truck, and he stayed with me for 3 months and taught me basically all I need to know to do locksmith work. And then, of course, after that, I did all kinds of stuff to opening safes and things like that.
Oh, yeah. But he didn't show you how to open a safe.
No. He was just no.
How did you figure that out?
I went to school.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. We had every year they had what they call a LOA, which is a locksmith thing that I belong to, and they had every year they have big classes and a big show and stuff in different parts of the country.
Did they have in Southern California?
We did one time yes, we did down in Long Beach.
I see. What else did you learn about opening safe? I want to hear all the tricks of the trade.
Well, there's not. You just have to know what safe you're working on and where to drill, and now some of the electronic safes now there's a code you can usually get to get those open.
So how would you be able to open up an electronic safe now?
Well, you have to call the manufacturer, and they would give you a little.
You have to be an official locksmith and all.
Oh yeah. No, you had to go to. Yeah, you had to be registered with the manufacturer.
Right.
Or,
How many people did you have working for you?
One time there was 14 people. We had 3 stores.
I know.
One in India, one in Palm Desert, and then one in Palm Springs.
Which was the most busiest?
Palm Desert.
Mm-hmm.
And then Palm Springs didn't work out, so we closed that.
Mm-hmm. So what? This office behind Keaty's, was that your first lock?
That was my first lock shop. Yeah.
Okay. And did you also have a hardware there? Or?
Well, what happened? We built a place over there which still exists now, and we had just a little part for the lock shop, and then we rented the rest of it to B&W Hardware, which was a hardware store. And we had nothing to do with that. We just rented it to them.
What was that? A good hardware store?
Well, it was
really.
It was a real good guy. In fact, the only one around then.
Who was the owner of that?
I can't remember their name. There were 2 brothers.
Were they good people?
Oh, they were great people, yeah. Really good people.
And if you wanted something like hardware, that was your only option, is that?
Do what?
If you had to get some kind of mechanical things from the hardware store, you didn't have any Home Depot, obviously, so that was...
No.
Yeah.
No Home Depot.
Yeah. You said it was a B&W?
B&W Hardware.
When did they close up? Do you know?
Perry was one guy's name, and the other guy's name was Frank. And when Perry died, then they closed it up.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned something about Medico lock?
Oh, that was a specialty key, a lock and key. It was very high, hard to. You couldn't pick it hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really quite a lock. And now they've got even more sophisticated than that one is. But at that time, there was only about 3 guys that picked a medical lock, and one of them was Joe. He worked actually worked for Sandy and Mike when they bought the company from me.
Now, what was a medical lock? It was the top of the line.
At that time, it was the top of the line for security.
Now, did that take a combination or does that take a key?
No, it was a key.
It was a key.
And you had to have a specialty key.
Oh.
You couldn't just go in like a slag key.
Right.
It wouldn't fit in. Well, all your different keys only fit in a certain lock.
Right. Was it American?
It was American.
Oh, yeah? I wonder if is the company still in existence, Medicom?
Oh, yes. Sure.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
When you sold your lock company,
Mm-hmm.
you were retired then. You decided to retire.
I retired.
Okay, but did you get bored or anything? Or you were
No,
just so busy?
no, I didn't get bored. In fact, my son had a 20 acres up in Big Bear, and
Mm-hmm.
I built a house on his property. And I
Really?
was part of the crew that framing crew, and I did a lot of the work there myself.
So he already had a house on there. And you just,
He had a big house on there and a barn and stuff.
how long did you all live up there?
Oh,
It was just a second home up there for you?
yeah, well, yeah, it's just a second home. Yeah,
Okay.
we would go up there in May,
Right.
come back here in October.
Good life, huh?
It was a good life. Yes.
Yeah. What about car shows? Were you in cars?
Oh, yes, I'm in the car shows. I have a 1913 Model T Ford, and we have twice a month during the season we have a car show at the Gardens,
Right.
which has now changed to the Chamber of Commerce, but
Right.
it's still going. And in fact, as a matter, I would be in there today if I wasn't being interviewed by you.
Oh. Well, thank you. Do the same people usually come to these car shows?
Oh yeah, most of the time, same people.
Well, explain about this Model T, this replica. That's very interesting.
Yeah, well, it's a replica of a 1913 Model T Ford, and it's electric now, and it'll go about 20 miles an hour, and it's supposed to go. They claim it'll go. I put big batteries in it, and not silicone. Can't remember.
Lithium?
Yeah, lithium, and they claim it'll go about 80 miles,
Right.
but of course I never go that far.
Well, where is it? Where is that, by the way? Is it here on your property or is it somewhere else?
It's right there on the garage.
All right, well, we need to take a picture of it.
Okay.
Okay. It's a plug-in, right?
Yeah, right. Just plain old
Really?
110.
So later on, you joined the board of the Historical Society.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And in 2010, or?
Somewhere
like
around
that.
then, probably.
And what were your what functions did what functions did you have at the on the board?
Well, I was just a member of the board. You know, they had. I didn't do much on the board.
You were a docent, though.
Yeah, well, I did that every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I would go and I don't know if you'd want to call me a docent. I guess I was a docent. But what we do, all I did is when somebody came in there, I just follow them around and answer their questions or point out the pictures or whatever.
Did you meet interesting people that came in there?
Oh yeah, we met some
Yeah. Were you there with your wife or did you go on your own?
I just went myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had people. We had people. It was only open so many days.
Right.
And so there was other people that did that.
When you moved here, how many people do you think that lived in Palm Desert at the time?
I estimated about 3,000.
Yeah. And you came here and you thought, I need to be here. How did you know this was going to be a place where you wanted to live?
Well, we liked it. We came here right in September, October, something like that, and it was just the weather was just great.
Yeah.
It was beautiful weather and all winter long, and then of course the summer comes. But
right, it's okay.
yeah.
And were you here when the city incorporated?
Yes, and by the way, Ella and I we were on the committee to get it incorporated.
I see.
And we tried. It has to be voted on, by the people, and We tried it in, I think, in 1970 or 71, and it didn't make it. And then in 73, it made it.
So why did you think it should be incorporated? What were the benefits of being incorporated?
Well, you can your own. You didn't have Riverside County to run in your place. The city, we ran our own things, and
Right.
didn't have county telling us what to do. So
Yeah, and you went door to door.
we went door to door to get them to talk to people and try to get them to vote yes on it.
Right. Did people know about it, or most of the people knew
Well,
about it?
they knew about it,
Yeah,
or most of them did. We'd explain to them if they didn't,
yeah. You met some of your neighbors that way.
Oh yeah, we went all over the place.
Palm Desert.
In Palm Desert area, yeah.
Well, now they started building that mall up there,
Yeah.
and how did that happen? Did you hear about? I mean, how long did it take them to build the mall up there?
Well, it probably took them 3 years or so.
Were you excited to see something like that here? Or you
Oh
didn't-
well, yeah, sure. We bring more people in and more houses, and so we do more work,
Yeah, yeah.
And we did work at the mall too.
I know. So tell me, you said you tell me about the locks on the mall, the stores, and the front door, and all. Mm-hmm.
Well, we put the on the front door. There's down in the bottom is where it runs the doors, swings back and forth, and we installed those, and we installed a few of the locks for the stores themselves, and
Was it double story? I mean, did it look was the inside pretty similar to how it is now?
oh yeah, it's the same. It hasn't changed, but they're going to change that now. They're going to rebuild a lot of stuff in there.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, fine. It doesn't bother me.
They had a skating rink?
They had a nice skating rink for a while, but they don't have that anymore.
Did your kids go on that?
No, they didn't.
Was it popular?
It was popular.
Food court?
Food court, where it is right now. Same.
Oh yeah, same. Did it have Pennies?
Penny's right there. Penny's there, and Macy's on the other end.
Yeah.
And of course we had Sears,
Right.
and there was a lot of stores in there.
Mm-hmm. How would you best describe the desert? How do you describe being here and living here?
Well, it's a great place to live. We got the McCown Theater, we got the COD, 2-year COD, College of the Desert, and then we got a 4-year college out there, and it's just a great place.
Has it been a good choice for you? The best choice? Yeah.
I think so. I've been here since 1964.
Yeah. If somebody was thinking about moving here, what would you tell them?
I would just tell them just what I just said about the great place. McCallum Theater is really they get some high class stuff there at the McCallum Theater, and then the COD, of course, and it's there's just so many great things to do around here. Golf
I know
course,
you go out. Go ahead.
we probably got excess of 130 golf courses in this area.
That's amazing. Are you a golfer?
Yes. Yes, I was.
Yeah. Can you still do it, or?
No, I can't play golf anymore.
I know you like to go out to lunch though. I've seen.
Oh, I do. In fact, I just took the lady today that owns Shadow Mountain Golf Club to lunch.
Lindy?
Lindy.
Oh yeah, you went out to lunch today?
Yeah, I took Lindy to lunch.
Where'd you go?
We went to the Sweet Basil.
Oh, okay. I think that's your favorite place.
It is my favorite place.
What's your dish that you like in there?
Well, I don't know. There's so many good things I like. I like the salads and there's the soup.
Yeah.
And they got this chocolate lasagna ice cream.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, called chocolate lasagna.
That's hilarious.
It's chocolate. In fact, Lindy and I had it today.
Oh, how funny. That sounds good. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah.
You're very wise and you've lived a lot. What is your best advice for young people coming up now? What would you say to the young people?
Well, just get a good education. See, I couldn't.
Yeah.
But
you did okay.
I don't really regret, and I got my GED when I was in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So that was good.
You saw an opening, you saw opportunity, and you were skilled, and you went right in for it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Would you say that, like, best advice would be just be reasonable, be reasonable, and don't overreach? How about saving your money? Do you think people should save their money?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Invested at least in something, you know.
Yeah. Invest in what? What'd you
Well,
say?
a property is a good investment,
Yeah.
and of course, if they want to gamble, the stock market.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's just would you say stock market or the casino? Which one?
Casino. I don't know about that. They didn't build a casino, but people winning, you know.
That's right.